ago, not long ago. You know, he and I are real good friends. Real close friends for many years. Yeah. And he has a little film going now. Yeah. Well, Danny, it's so good to see you.
Same here. Once again.
Yes, once again. Last time was Silverado, and now...
It'd be nice to make it twice a year.
Yeah, let's work on that.
I love it.
Let's work on that. Yeah. Color Purple is such a beautiful film, really wonderful. And your performance, see, I'm seeing another side of you, but knowing you just the little bit I do, Danny, it's so hard for me to think of Danny Glover even playing a mean guy like Mr. But I'm wondering, for you, was that, or is this a more difficult role for you than some other things you've done?
Well, let's say that it's the most challenging role that I've had, and only challenging because of the whole multifaceted character, the sense of the character that you get. I mean, that he lives, the Mr., he lives such a full life and such a fully developed character. And that's been unusual. We've, to some extent, we've seen the kind of almost stoic Malachi to a very lovable Moses and a very mean McPhee in Witness. But we haven't seen a guy that has all of these things happening, something is happening with him. So it's challenging. Difficult, no. Obstacles, yes. But not difficult in the sense that when you're doing something and you love doing it and you're growing and you change it and you're discovering things, that you feed all that in and everything, you're embarking on new territory, let's say, as opposed to being difficult. But certainly getting to that point was a challenge. But it's in us. We find it in us in certain ways. It may not be expressed physically in the abusiveness of a woman, but it's found some other ways, maybe even psychologically. Maybe it's pent-up rage. Maybe I got some pent-up rage here.
You've always just been so kind, and you're so seemingly even-tempered. Another thing I'm wondering about is that a lot of people, if they don't know about this film and they go in and see it, and then suddenly see Steven Spielberg directed it, and we don't have, you know, any sort of mechanical contrivances, no special effects and so forth, they'll be surprised. I'm wondering, for you, Danny, as an actor, what kind of a director is Steven for the actor as far as helping you with the character?
Certainly someone who's available and someone that you can trust. And he would often give you things, and it would just click on that little light up here, and you would be able to discover a whole realm of what's happening with your character. Wonderful to work with. I mean, simply, and I'm not saying that just to push Steven's PR machine, but certainly I enjoyed it. And he trusts actors. Anyone that lets you improv to some extent, define spaces, and always has a sense of aura of discovery around what they do. They have to care about actors in a sense, you know. They have to care about them being the foremost interpreters of the piece of material. Those are the ones who are going to give life through their eyes and through their body to the characters.
Does he ever impose anything on the actor that's an idea that he's kind of married to and he wants? And even if you're having trouble with it, does he impose it on you?
Well, no, I didn't find that happening. I found that sometimes Steven would say something like, do this. And if you take what he says, do literally, then you can have problems. But he means take what my interpretation was that he meant take this right here and do it your way, you know? And most often, doing it my way or Whoopi doing it her way was what he wanted anyway. He's always, I felt, looking for you to individualize whatever particular direction to make it yours, you know.
Was there ever a time, Danny, when being a white director that he lacked the sensitivity toward the black situation, and did you all ever discuss that with him?
Well, I didn't think so. I didn't find that a problem at all. there's two things that are happening. There are two things that happen. One, that you're insensitive and forge forward with your own idea, and one that you admit that you don't know and look or seek for some information. The latter was what Stephen was about, you know.
Do you think a black director might have been better for the picture?
Whew, that's a question we won't know. I don't even want to play with that question. Certainly, there are many directors and many black directors that could have given a different a viewpoint to the picture. I saw an interesting movie one time at a film festival where there was an Iranian woman who was the director who did something about Chinatown in New York and had a very interesting viewpoint. A lot of people criticized the film, but people saying, what in the world does she know about that? But it was, I thought, a very sensitive film. It was about people, it's about women. And I don't know. I don't know. I think that any other director would have put his particular stamp on it. Stephen has put his particular stamp on it. He's allowed us to bring our humanity to it. Me, Whoopi, Oprah, Kusawa, Margaret, Willard, and everyone else, to bring their particular stamp to it, and thereby using him as a vehicle.
Was there any reluctance at all for you to take this role, because you have to beat these women around?
Well, it was something that I wanted to see. It's always, I want to know something. I want to find out something. I want to find out what I don't know, and that's important. You know, I want to find out what I don't know that we may come up with in this script. But I also want to find out what I don't know to some extent about what limits am I willing to go to, what chances am I willing to take, and that's so there wasn't any, you know, the anticipation. I mean, the anticipation and knowing that you're going to do it. Now that's step one, and then doing it, and finishing it, that's the next step. You know, I'm so excited about that phenomena. And sometimes what happens is that there's a gamut of emotions that happen between those two steps. Whether I'm tired, nothing works, something's happening magical, I can't believe this happening to me, to it's hot out here and I wish the day was over. A whole gamut of emotions. To that, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna finish with this film. I'm not getting what I want. All those things go through. All the gamut of emotions that go through a human being happened during that period of time. But there wasn't a moment that I thought it was right to do. I thought it was right to do. I thought it was right to do when I first read the book 2 years ago. Then I didn't know it was going to be made, but I thought it was right to do.
I'm glad you did it.
Okay.
And I'm glad I know you as Danny Glover, so that I know it's not typecasting.
Okay.
Danny, congratulations on a wonderful performance, and thanks for making this time available for us.
Oh,
it's always
great.
lovely to see you.
Thank you so much. Lovely to see you also.
Good interview. Thanks.
Okay.
Danny, this Mr. you play, mean, abusive man, you're not at all like that. Was this a difficult role for you? Do you think a black director would have been better? Danny, was there ever a time when you felt that maybe being white, that Steven Spielberg lacked the knowledge or the sensitivity for a certain thing, and did he try to impose things on you? Would he sometimes want you to do things his way? A lot of people who don't know that Steven Spielberg is the director of this will be surprised going in, finding a movie with no special effects and just a nice people's story. Was there any reluctance on your part to take this? And now just reactions. Okay.